All right, so let's unwrap one of these barrels. Okay, I think I like this one here. The smoothing's a little weird though, because like it needs to be smooth across the face of the bands like this one is, and also across the face of the wooden where the vertical board slats are going to be, right? Now, you could say, well, these edges here are vertical and the boards are vertical, but it's unlikely you're going to be able to get your wooden board texture to exactly line up with where these edges are. It's going to, not sure how this is going to look. So I think just smoothing it like this probably is the best bet. Okay. So anyway, to do that with this one, let me get it so I can see it in all viewports. And let's actually just try. What you can do is just, select a place that you want to be smoothed, right? And if you look down in the if you have some polygons selected, you can go to the polygon smoothing groups. And when there's an edge, it means that there's two polygons that have different numbers on them. Now, there's no numbers lit up at all on here, which I guess just means the whole thing is unsmooth. But let me just select all of them and try auto smooth and see what that, because that will just take anything that's less than a 45-degree angle and smooth it like across the face here. And anything that's more than a 45-degree angle, like these 90-degree angles that I want to be sharp. Okay, so see, you can see where these numbers just appeared. That means it did the whole thing using just two smoothing groups. And that worked fine, so I'm going with that. All right, I'm going to unwrap this one. So I'm going to right-click, hide unselected. And I'm going to go to an Unwrap UVW modifier. Making sure that you're not in any sub-object mode here. Okay. But this guy, let's see, make sure ignore back-facing is not checked as usual. All right, so what do we got here? We have vertical wooden boards. Okay, that's one material. We have the faces of the metal bands. So those are two kinds of textures that are both vertical, right? They go up and down like a wall. And then we have two kinds of materials that we're looking at from the top, like a floor, just the edge of the boards, the edge of the bands, and this middle piece, and the bottom. Okay, bottom's not too important, but this one we might want to put a logo on, or warning explosives or whatever. Somebody winemaker. All right, so I'm gonna do the wooden boards first. So I got to select those guys. So I'm going to select this one. I'm in crossing mode. Select this, select this, select this, select this bottom one. It's a little funky, but that's okay. And now let's see, what do we got here? I'm going to do control. Don't hit the top. Actually, the top is down here, right? Because it's inset. So I'm going to go control and drag across right here. Yeah, so that got all my vertical faces, vertical wooden faces, including the inside. So let's do, give that cylindrical. All right, and I'm going to hit fit. I should be good. Let's open the UV editor. See what's going on here. Got to turn off cylindrical, and I'm going to move this out here. All right. So the entire width of the barrel is now unwrapped. The inside, the inside edge and the outside edge are overlapping here. They're on top of each other because from a cylindrical projection, they were they were both hit by that, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. Okay. Nobody can see the inside and outside of the same part at the same time to know they're redundant. All right, let's go to that checker pattern thing. Just click on that and see. All right, so you can see that it's a little bit, it's squarified, as these things always are, because, so this should actually, if this whole barrel was unwrapped, this thing we're looking at here would be wider, right? So let's scale that until these squares are more squarer. So I'm going to go to my scale thing, horizontal scale, and scale those horizontally till my checkers are square. Okay, looks wide, but I think seems to be correct. All right, so there's that. Let's now do the outer faces of the metal bands. All right, so I'm going to select here, then control, and make sure you don't get sloppy and do this where you're getting the top, the top and bottom. Using control. And here, right, make sure you don't, this is the inside of the wood up here, right? So I'm just going to go across like this, right? Worst comes to worst, you can always, do that. You can always go around here and do it this way, right? I'm trying to avoid that though. All right, so that's the outer metal bands. Let us now do cylindrical again. Doesn't look like I need to hit fit because it looks like it's already fitting. Turn off cylindrical. Move this guy out. Whoops. Move. Okay, and I'm going to have to scale this horizontally again. Probably should just make it the same width as the wood. All right, now got a lot of empty space, so I'm just going to get back into move and just, I can hold down shift. I'm just tightening up the space here. I'm looking how I have a sheet that I used to hand out, and it's here's how you can see that, right? That's how I had people unwrap it in class. I don't like that now because I put down at the bottom here, you can see I put all the where's the camera? I put all the band. See, that's the wood at the top, and then the bands at the bottom all on top of each other. And I think that if it's some kind of texture or something, it could look obviously, if it's just if you're making it rusty or something, the texture could look repeated. So I think it's better that they're separate. Okay. So here, so we have now all the vertical parts accounted for. All right, let's do the top and the top and bottom of the wood. Okay. All right, so I'm going to click here. So I'm going to make sure I'm in window, not crossing, and I'm going to go around the top edge. So I have this, and then I'm going to control click on this. All right. I think I can do those at the same time. So it's it's the end. It's two different things, right? This is the end grain of the wood, which you're probably just going to want some solid brown color. This is going to be boards, right? It's built out of flat planks, I think, or maybe one big piece of wood. So I'm doing planar fit, and let's see how that looks. Turn off planar, and let's move that whole thing out. I'm going to make them. I'm actually just going to scale. I want it to be separate because they're not going to have the same texture, but it's convenient for them to be in the same place. I'm just going to go to my uniform scale. I just clicked on just the top and scale it down a hair just so they're separate. Okay, so I can put. Even that's not very good. How did I do it before? Well, we'll just put wood boards across here, and then I'll just paint a just drag a paintbrush around the top to get solid for the top edge of the boards. All right. All we have left now is the top and bottom edges of the rusty or not rusty. I can't talk. Metal bands. All right, so I am going to go into poly mode. I'm in it. And what I got to do is make sure I'm in a window, and I'm going to select like this. Okay, so I'm only getting this wee little tiny top and bottom edge. Control to select more. So I have that. Okay, so I'm just getting the top and bottom. And now I want to do every band. So up here, you have to be careful, okay? You got to know what's what. All right, so I'm holding control. I'm going to get the bottom of the metal band. And the top of the metal band is right here, okay? You may have to like scrutinize your model a little bit to figure out what's what. So there's the top of the band. Did I get it? Top of the band, bottom of the band. All right, so continuing on, control, get the top, get the bottom, get the top, get the bottom. One more, top and bottom. So it should look like that. Tops of the metal bands, bottoms of the metal bands. Nothing else selected. Let's just give it a planer. Should be fitting. I'm going to open my UV editor back up, which I closed. And these things, turn off planer. Okay, I'm going to put this here. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. It's just going to be a solid color, I think. It's not going to be a texture on there. Actually, I guess the space is already kind of used anyway. And then the last thing is the bottom of the barrel. Okay, I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller so it all fits into this area. Okay, all that really matters is this stuff down here. It's just leaving this empty space above anyway. Okay, except for this. All right, that's important. So we don't want to shrink this down because that's the top of the barrel. Bottom of the barrel, top edges of the, and bottom edges of the metal, top edges and bottom edges of the wood. Top edge of the wood. Okay, anyway, select all these guys. Let's scale it down. Until it's all good. Okay, it's probably going to be packed a little tighter. We're packing our UVs. All right, I better save this thing. All right, let's export this template so we can do some texturing. Let's see, tools, render UVW templates. Let's make it 2048. We like that size by 2048. Change the green things to white and render UVW template. There it is. And again, if the lines look dotted or sketchy looking, it's just because they're really skinny and probably skinnier than the pixels on your monitor. Hit the little save thingy there and call this just JPEG barrel, however you spell barrel. And remember, use the word template so you don't get it. People are always mixing up the template with the texture. Okay, the template is just the skinny lines. Okay, it might be a layer once you build your full texture, but right now it's just the template. And I'm putting a year on because I've done this before. Okay, and we are now unwrapped.